You have led the process of promoting acupuncture, Qichun Moxibustion therapy, from provincial-level heritage recognition to national level. What was your original intention? In your view, what gaps in the TCM acupuncture system did its successful inclusion fill? Han Shanmin, I was born into a traditional TCM family. According to records, my ancestor Han Tai was an imperial physician during the mid-Ming dynasty, Chenghua period. Since then, the family line has continued, and I am now the 17th generation inheritor. Immersed in the TCM environment from childhood, I chose to study TCM after high school. My father initially did not understand, believing that although the family had practiced medicine for generations, there had been no major achievements, and entering university was a rare opportunity, so I should pursue broader prospects. Ultimately, with my grandfather's support and mediation, my choice was respected. In 1984, I was admitted to Hubei University of Chinese Medicine to study acupuncture and Moxibustion and, after graduation, returned to my hometown of Qichun. On one hand, I felt strongly attached to my family's TCM heritage. On the other, as Qichun is the birthplace of the medical sage Li Shizhen, I felt a responsibility to inherit the family tradition and promote Li Shizhen's TCM culture. Since then, I have devoted myself to clinical acupuncture practice and the transmission of TCM knowledge. In 2013, the Qichun County Cultural Center planned to apply for provincial-level intangible cultural heritage recognition for projects including Qichun Moxibustion therapy. As the first acupuncture major from Qichun to hold a bachelor's degree, I had long focused on clinical acupuncture work. Although busy with daily duties, when I learned that Qichun Moxibustion therapy had the opportunity for heritage recognition, both I and the hospital leadership recognized its significance. We agreed that it was not only about protecting a traditional craft but also a way to systematically explore the rich TCM culture of Li Shizhen's hometown, achieving preservation and inheritance. We immediately decided to fully support the application, hoping to give Qichun Moxibustion therapy a platform to go public and revitalize it within the heritage protection framework. Qichun Moxibustion therapy has a long history and wide application. The region produces high-quality Qichun mugwort, and many Moxibustion methods were recorded by physicians such as Li Shizhen in the Compendium of Materia Medica. In addition, local communities preserved many region-specific Moxibustion techniques. We conducted extensive foundational work, including organizing relevant materials, collecting ancient texts, notably nearly 2 million words from the Compendium of Materia Medica, and carrying out field research to verify folk methods, retaining the essence and discarding the dross. Eventually, the project was successfully listed in the fourth batch of Provincial Intangible Cultural Heritage Representative Projects in Hubei. In 2014, with the launch of the fourth batch of national-level intangible cultural heritage applications, we attempted to apply based on the provincial project. However, due to limited preparation time and the higher national standards, our project was not accepted. After this setback, we were undeterred and continued to deepen our research. National heritage applications require clear historical origins, continuous transmission, typically over 100 years or at least 3 generations. Qichun Moxibustion therapy had been transmitted for more than a century with clear generational continuity. To fully demonstrate its historical continuity and cultural depth, we carefully examined and summarized records from various dynasties. Since records before the Tang dynasty were scarce, we began from the Tang period, proceeding through the Song, Ming, Qing, and into modern and contemporary times, systematically tracing the lineage of Qichun Moxibustion techniques. On this basis, we strictly followed the national-level application requirements, conducting extensive field surveys and ancient text collection, and combined this with the therapy's clinical and wellness applications. We distilled 3 core advantages of Qichun Moxibustion therapy. First, deep and penetrating Moxibustion efficacy. Second, unique and precise techniques. Third, simplicity, affordability, and broad applicability. At the same time, we have identified 3 representative Moxibustion methods within the Qichun Moxibustion tradition: the Leihua Divine Needle Moxibustion first advocated by Li Shizhen, the Qichun Grand Moxibustion recorded in the Compendium of Materia Medica and preserved through folk practice, and the Qichun Fire Moxibustion method. In 2020, drawing on practical experience from COVID-19 prevention and control, we further formulated the 4 Qichun Moxibustion methods for epidemic prevention, including Qichun Mugwort Fumigation Moxibustion, Qichun Mugwort Steam Moxibustion, and Qichun Mugwort Warming Moxibustion. Together with the methods mentioned above, these representative techniques form the core technical system of Qichun Moxibustion therapy. In the following years, we continued to refine the application materials, extensively inviting provincial, national, and even expert scholars for guidance. The application draft underwent more than 50 revisions. After years of sustained effort, Qichun Moxibustion therapy was successfully inscribed in 2021 on the 5th batch of China's National Intangible Cultural Heritage Representative Projects. Notably, it is currently the only national-level heritage project in China based solely on Moxibustion therapy. National-level applications for traditional medicine intangible cultural heritage are exceptionally demanding. Taking Hubei province as an example, despite its long history and abundant resources in traditional Chinese medicine, as of the announcement of the 5th batch of the National Intangible Cultural Heritage List, there were only 6 TCM-related projects nationwide from the province, and among them, Qichun Moxibustion therapy was the only one that directly involves therapeutic treatment of disease. The remaining projects, such as the Han School Peng Yingting traditional Chinese medicine processing techniques, Meiyinglong ophthalmic medicine manufacturing techniques, Xia family elixir making techniques, and the Zhen family strychnine nux vomica therapy for rheumatic diseases, are mostly weakly linked to direct clinical treatment. By contrast, Qichun Moxibustion therapy requires direct application to the human body to achieve therapeutic effects, which makes its evaluation and inscription standards considerably more stringent. Qichun Mugwort is known as the King of Mugwort. Based on your clinical experience and your deep roots in Qichun, what are the core advantages of its geo-authenticity that distinguish it from ordinary mugwort? How are these advantages uniquely reflected in its Moxibustion therapeutic effects? Han Shanmin, as the saying goes, good Moxibustion depends on good moxa. High-quality Moxibustion materials are the prerequisite for achieving reliable therapeutic outcomes. Mugwort leaves, as plant-based medicinal materials, are deeply embedded in Chinese history and culture, with records dating back to the Book of Songs. They frequently appear in medical texts, artifacts, and writings across dynasties. Plant growth is closely tied to the environment, as illustrated by the saying, an orange grown south of the Huai River is an orange, but north of it becomes a trifoliate orange. In traditional Chinese materia medica, this phenomenon is termed daodi, giving rise to the concept of daodi medicinal materials, which refers to herbs grown in specific regions with superior quality, mature techniques, and broad professional recognition. Before the Song dynasty, there was no particular emphasis on the daodi origin of mugwort. Regions such as Qichun in Hubei, Nanyang in Hunan, Yeyang in Hunan, Shandong, and Sichuan mugwort, were all used clinically. According to extensive research, the earliest explicit record of mugwort's origin appears in the Benqiao Pinhui Jingyao, 1505, edited by Lu Wentai, which first identified Qizhou, present-day Qichun County, Hubei, and Mingzhou, present-day Ningbo, Zhejiang, as daodi production areas. The Siming Mountains in Ningbo once produced mugwort known as High Ai. Since then, Qichun mugwort has been regarded as a representative daodi mugwort, a status that has continued to the present and is officially recognized in the Pharmacopoeia of the People's Republic of China. The daodi advantages of Qichun mugwort are mainly reflected in 5 aspects. First, superior morphology and high floss yield. Qichun mugwort plants are tall and robust, averaging 1.8 to 2.4 meters in height and sometimes exceeding 3 meters. The leaves are large and thick, producing more moxa floss per unit area and offering higher utilization efficiency. Second, ample heat and strong penetration. Compendium of Materia Medica records that mugwort from other regions, when used for moxibustion on a wine jar, cannot penetrate it, whereas Qichun mugwort, with a single application, penetrate straight through, which is truly distinctive. This means that when Qichun mugwort is ignited for Moxibustion, it more readily penetrates the skin and reaches deeper into the meridians. Modern experiments confirm that Qichun mugwort releases shortwave infrared radiation during combustion that is more readily absorbed by the human body, with a combustion value approximately 20 to 25% higher than that of other mugwort varieties. Third, high essential oil content. Qichun mugwort contains about 1.3 to 1.5% essential oils, significantly higher than the 0.3 to 0.5% found in mugwort from other regions. Fourth, richness in flavonoids and other active compounds. The total flavonoid content in Qichun mugwort is 1 to 4 times that of ordinary mugwort. Flavonoids possess anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and immunomodulatory activities and constitute an important material basis for the therapeutic effects of mugwort leaves. Fifth, long-standing endorsement by physicians across dynasties. From the Tang dynasty to the present, Qichun mugwort has consistently been regarded as the preferred material for Moxibustion, with its doughty status repeatedly confirmed through written records and clinical practice. These advantages translate directly into distinctive therapeutic effects. High-quality Moxa floss ensures a solid foundation for treatment efficacy. Sufficient heat and strong penetration allow more precise action on pathological sites, and the abundant essential oils and flavonoids enhance the pharmacological effects of warming the meridians, dispelling cold, and relieving pain. Together, these factors enable Qichun Moxibustion therapy to achieve precise application and broad clinical effectiveness, forming a key foundation for its recognition as a national-level intangible cultural heritage.